Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. Checking. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. Check, checky, checky, chan. And you can see that I'm talking about me.
Welcome to the Effortless English Show with the world's #1 English teacher, AJ Hoge, where AJ's more than 40 million students worldwide finally learn English once and for all, without the boring textbooks, classrooms, and grammar drills. Here's AJ with a quick piece to help you learn to speak fluent English effortlessly.
I'm AJ Hoge, author of Effortless English, Learn to Speak English Like a Native. We had a great VIP member meeting this last weekend. Really fun. We used Zoom for the first time, got to see everybody's faces, and of course we got to talk. The VIP members got to talk. A lot of members got to talk. So that was really fantastic. Thank you for all the VIP members who joined and who talked to me, and it was great to hear your voices, see your faces. So it was a success. This was our first time trying Zoom with a large group of people. We had a lot of people join, but it worked. It worked just fine. All the videos worked. The audio sounded good. So we will do it again this month. So that was February. We're going to do it again probably towards the end of this month, maybe middle of this month. So join my VIP program, and you can join the next VIP meeting. I used to do those every month, and then I got tired of using the software. It was only audio, and I didn't really like it. But now with Zoom, I think we have a really good system we can use for VIP meetings. So we'll do another one this month, and let's just do them every month now. So join my VIP program at effortlessenglishclub.com. You can try for just $1. Of course, you'll get the lessons and you'll succeed with English, and you can talk to me every month. So that's a good part of VIP membership too. All right, let's get into our topic today. So the title today is How to Win and Succeed. Control your fear. Really, I probably should say control your emotions, because it's not just fear. That to win and succeed, especially during stress, something that's difficult, something that maybe you're afraid of or nervous about, we have to learn to stay very, very calm. Now this show was kind of inspired by a jiu-jitsu fighter, actually an MMA fighter and jiu-jitsu guy, but he's more famous for jiu-jitsu. A guy named Ryan Hall, who was very successful in jiu-jitsu, kind of one of the top, probably still is one of the top jiu-jitsu fighters. I don't know how active he is with just jiu-jitsu, because he then became an MMA, mixed martial arts fighter, and did very well for a while. I'm not sure now. He's getting older, so I'm not sure how if he's still fighting actively now or not. But anyway, Ryan Hall. I was listening to him, and Ryan Hall, I was watching one of his videos teaching about jiu-jitsu, and he talked about that it's very important during a fight to be very relaxed and calm. And he talked about how much this helps, like how in a very tough fight, like mixed martial arts, someone's trying to punch you, kick you, knock you down to the ground, strangle you, choke you, whatever, right? And maybe a lot of money possibly to win, and a lot of people watching. And he was saying how whenever he would fight jiu-jitsu or martial arts, that he was totally relaxed and calm. He was not nervous, but he also did not try to make himself really excited, right? So sometimes we'll think about, like kind of get really excited. Yeah. And I talk about that. That is I'd say that's a very good first step to help yourself in a situation where you might be nervous, like public speaking, a job interview, is you already feel that emotion, right? It's this strong emotion. So Maybe it's fear, nervousness. So you change it to something positive like excitement. So that's step one. And it does help. It helps a lot. It'll help you a lot with your public speaking. But it's not the final step. The final step is step two, which is after you do that, right? First you're nervous and worried or afraid. And so then maybe you jump around, you play music, you get excited. You see sports teams, they do this all the time, right? Yeah, let's go. Rah! They get really excited, right? And that's the first step. So now instead of nervous, now you feel excited. You're taking the emotion, that energy, which was negative, nervous, afraid, and you change it to a positive emotion, excitement. But then what you need to do to really perform well, to really succeed, is then you calm down. Then you might meditate. You might just do deep breathing. I don't know, yoga. Even just lie down on the floor and close your eyes and just focus on your breathing and relax. And so then make yourself totally calm. And then do what you need to do. Right? Like for a job interview, this would be a great thing to do before a job interview if you're really nervous about your job or something like that. You would first get yourself really excited and feeling positive and jumping around. Just go crazy until you're feeling great. But then, maybe 10 minutes before the job interview, you would want to go somewhere and calm down. Maybe you're in a waiting room. So you could just sit in the chair waiting for them to call your name and just close your eyes and just breathe deeply. The jumping around, going crazy, maybe you do that in your car or outside somewhere where they can't see you because it looks kind of crazy, right? And then when you come into the building, you go and you sit down. Then you focus on being calm. And I would do this whenever I would have a big public speaking, right? So in the beginning, I would just make myself super excited. And that helped. It helped me feel better. I did better. I was a better public speaker. But sometimes it was too much. Sometimes I would be speaking to people and I would talk too fast and walk around too fast and be waving my arms and kind of a little too much enthusiasm, too much excitement, right? Because I had too much energy. I wasn't calm. It was better than being afraid, better than being nervous, but still not the best. Because when you're emotional, you're not thinking clearly. So I still was not thinking clearly, and so then I learned that after getting excited, I needed to also then go sit down before doing my speech to a big group, and like I was talking to 2,000 people sometimes. 3,000, I think 3,000 was the biggest. But anyway, I would sit down maybe 10, 15 minutes before going to speak and just close my eyes and breathe deeply and basically meditate, just focus on my breathing. Let my heart beat slow down, everything slow down, get very calm, and then go on to the stage. And that worked perfectly. Then my mind was thinking clearly. I still had good positive energy, not nervous, but not crazy, very calm. And then I would give the best speech doing that. So this kind of process I recommend. And we're going to read about this. And so I was surprised to see, Ryan Hall. You think somebody in fighting, right? These guys are trying to not quite kill each other, but they're trying to hurt each other, knock each other out. Some fighters, do kind of jump around and they get, right? But it was interesting to hear him talk about just staying really calm. And a lot of the really top champion fighters, like I think of someone like GSP, George St. Pierre, one of the greatest UFC fighters. That's the feeling I would get from him. Like the guy was just always calm. Right? Like nobody could make him upset. He would go into these big fights and just his mind totally clear and calm. Right? So we call this kind of grace under pressure. In English, it means that when in a stressful, chaotic, difficult time, most people are really nervous. Their heart's beating fast, boom, 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 boom. But instead, totally calm. This person's totally calm. Another person who talks about this is Hickson Gracie, if you know jiu-jitsu. I'm talking about a lot of jiu-jitsu guys today, just because I know them. But Hickson Gracie, one of the great jiu-jitsu fighters, great early MMA fighter, he talked about this exact thing. He had this kind of special yoga breathing. So same thing, he would get warmed up, right? He would warm before a big fight. He would get his body warmed up, jump around, kind of sweat a little bit, get a little bit excited. Then he would sit down and do his yoga breathing. And these special yoga breathing. And he talked about how his heart rate, right, his heartbeat would become very slow and calm. Very, very slow and calm. And he said this helped him to win in the fight because when he started fighting, his heartbeat was just very slow. His body was very relaxed. The other guy was, excited and nervous, heart beating faster, boom, 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 boom. So the other guy would get tired faster because the other guy was already starting too excited, already using energy before the fight started because he was so, so excited about it, maybe even nervous about it. Whereas Hickson would be like a monk, super, super, super calm, saving his energy, thinking very clearly. I'm going to read now from a book which is called The Way of the Champion. It's kind of a book influenced by Taoism. You all know I love Taoism. And this is also, it's kind of talking about Taoism and athletes, people in sports. But I think you can use it when you're just for doing public speaking. You can use it for doing a job interview in English or in your language. You can use it before talking, any kind of, nervous situation, maybe using English. And you could also use it for, like dating or something, right? Anytime you might be really nervous, anything that might be difficult. And Milo, by the way, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to read this. This is from the Way of the Champion. And it's actually a quote from another book. So let me read the quote. It says, here, I'll share my screen. If you're watching on video, you can see it. Okay. Carefully train to avoid anxiety during competition. Avoid anxiety. Anxiety is nervousness. It's the same thing. Sorry, wrong camera. Anxiety, nervous, same. So train to avoid anxiety during competition. You need to have a way to gather and harness positive energy and compete with relaxed intensity, free of fear, able to risk, little or no self-doubt, and courage to thrust onward. I'll talk about the meaning of these words. And this is by a Chinese writer, Deng Ming Dao, and that quote comes from a book called Tao Wisdom. Spelled T with a T, T-A-O, T-A-O, Tao or Tao, wisdom. Okay, so let me go back that second sentence. So he's talking about, performing. So this could be soccer, this could be jiu-jitsu or fighting, this could be a job interview. It doesn't matter, okay? Any situation you need to have a good performance, and maybe, you're worried about it. Maybe it's something that's very important for you. So you need to have a way, you have to have positive energy. So that's the thing I was talking about, step one. So you can't just be lazy, right? You don't want to be too relaxed. If you're too relaxed, then maybe you're just completely lazy. You've got no energy. You'll be boring. Your performance might be bad. So you definitely need some energy, but then you also need what Deng Ming Dao calls relaxed intensity. That's a nice phrase. Relaxed intensity. These sound almost opposite. But intensity means like power, focus, right? Power, focus, like a strong power and focus. but also relaxed. So you need both for a great performance. And he's totally right about this. And this can be a little difficult to do, right? Because to be just relaxed, we understand that. Just intensity, you can jump around and get really excited. How do you do both? And that's the hard part. But you'll see this with champions. You can see it like in basketball, like Michael Jordan, where he would be, of course, using a lot of energy and running fast and jumping and everything. But you could also see on his face, he's doing these shots and he's doing these incredible things. And it looks easy. He just looks like he's very relaxed while he's doing it, right? And again, like Ryan Hall, who I mentioned, in jiu-jitsu, if you watch him fight, especially jiu-jitsu, he looks so relaxed. He's doing these incredible things. There's a great fight. He was fighting BJ Penn. It's quite a famous one, and he does this great technique, dives in, and he wins the fight. And it was like a big risk what he did, and very impressive. And he obviously was very relaxed to do it. When you're relaxed, you can move faster if it's sports, physically. And if you're relaxed, you also your brain thinks better. If you're too nervous or too emotional, then your brain gets a little confused. You know this, right? So this is why it's important. The second phrase this person mentions, Dung Ming Dao, says to be free of fear. So no fear when you're performing. You're in your job interview, zero fear while you're doing it. You're doing your sport. You feel no fear. You're not thinking about it. You're not worried about winning or losing. You're not worried about success or failure. You're just in that moment doing your best. That's all. And able to risk. This is another important one. Able to take risks. If you don't have fear, then you'll try to do something excellent, right? You won't be just boring. See, a lot of people, because they're nervous, they're afraid to try something interesting. They're afraid to be different. You'll see this in job interviews all the time. People give the exact same answers they find in a book usually, right? So, they'll say, what's your greatest weakness? And everybody says kind of the same thing. Oh, I work too much, or kind of just nonsense answers. And the guy doing the interview, they hear the same answers. Everybody giving exactly the same answers again and again and again, right? There's no risk. Everyone's afraid to just be honest or to say something creative, try something different. Everyone's afraid to do it. But if you're relaxed, you'll just try something. You'll say, you'll try something quite different. And you might fail if you try something different, but you also might succeed in a big way. Right? To succeed in a big way, you've got to take some risks. So very, 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 very good. And no self-doubt is the final thing Dung Ming Dao mentions. You're not doubting yourself. We can doubt ourselves when we're practicing, right? You can be practicing. You're practicing for your job interview, for example, and you're like, oh, I don't know, what should I do? And you think about it a lot. That's fine. It's normal. But when you get closer to the real interview, or maybe it's public speaking, you're giving the real speech, you have to stop doubting. You have to make a decision and no more doubt. Don't worry about yourself. Don't worry, will I succeed? Will I fail? You have to stop thinking about all of that. Very important. Very important. And here are a few more tips from this book, The Way of the Champion. But how do you do it? How do you stop worrying? How do you become less emotional but still have good energy? So number one, the book says, don't measure your value by the outcome on the field. What this means is if you fail, you fail. If you succeed, you succeed. You're still a good person. Okay, so it doesn't matter, right? Don't connect your good feeling about yourself to the result. Right? So let's say you give a speech to 100 people, and maybe you fail. I guess you do a terrible job. You're nervous, whatever. You do a really bad job. Yeah, you feel bad, of course, but you're still a good person. There's nothing wrong with you. Okay, you just need to keep practicing public speaking. So it's important not to get too upset about things, right? It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. You just have a failure. We all fail sometimes. Next, number two tip says, just focus on performing, not on winning. And I think this is great. So basically you're saying you just talk about, or you focus on, doing your best. In our Effortless English, we have a code, and one of them is we do the best we can. Do your best. Sometimes you do your best and you still get a bad result. Sometimes you do your best and it's not great. Sometimes you do your best and you have a huge success. But sometimes we can't control winning or losing. I'll give you another example. For myself, I'm in jiu-jitsu, right? So I could go to a tournament and fight somebody and, I might win, I might lose, So they might just be better than me. Even I might train every day and practice and do my best, do my very, very best. But that other person, they just might be better than me, right? Maybe they're just stronger, their body, or maybe they just practice more, or whatever. Or maybe they've been doing it longer. Maybe they have more experience than I do. I can't control that other person, right? I can't control that. There's definitely lots of people better than I am. And, so there's no way to control that. But what I can do is just do my very best. And then what happens, happens. And so can you. So you focus on doing your best. You focus on your performance and not on winning, not on losing. Point number 3, remember that even if you win, it's temporary, okay? So even if you have a good success, life continues and you're going to have more problems come up in your life again. So don't focus too much again on the result. Don't get too excited about winning and don't get too upset about losing, right? Or failing. Because life goes on, and maybe next month you win, and maybe the month after that you have a failure, and after that another success. It's gonna be up and down. Always in life this happens. Okay, so I think that's enough. Okay, we'll get into the comments and questions here in a second, but so the main point though, and I think for you all, public speaking. Some of you have to do job interviews. Some of you must do job interviews in English. It could also be something like if you're a guy, you want to go talk to a girl that's pretty, right? So for all of these things, practice. It takes time, but practice being less emotional during your performance. Relaxed intensity, right? Good energy, but not too focused on the result. All right, let's get into our comments and questions. Okay, I can't read the Cyrillic alphabet. I'm sorry. So I don't know your name. But is it Arib is the last name part. I had fear to practice martial arts. I practiced Wing Chun or Wing Sun. You'll see it pronounced, written in different ways with English letters. I was afraid to have pain when a partner hit me. After a while, I got used to it. I hit partners myself. I didn't pay attention to anything. This is the process. That's right. So, the next question probably you have is, well, how do I become more calm during stress? How do I do this? It's easy to say it, but how do you do it? Because when it's actually time to do it, you feel nervous. And one answer is you just have to do it. You do it and fail and do it and fail and do it and fail. And then you get more calm. The more you do it, the more comfortable you become, the less nervous you become. So just jumping in and doing it a lot, even badly, it's okay. Just be bad for a while, right? So like Arib here is saying, like with Wing, I think it's Wing Chun, and I've seen it in English. So, they're kind of punching each other and kicking each other. And maybe in the beginning, that's a little scary, right? But after you do it a while, he's right. You get used to it. right? It's the same in jiu-jitsu. Some people are nervous, like, oh, guys are going to be smashing me and throwing me onto the ground and trying to choke me. And, it took me about 2 years to get used to being smashed. Smash means I'm on the bottom and someone's on top of me, putting their weight down and trying to choke me. And, most of the white belts experience this in jiu-jitsu. And, like I said, it's you get nervous, of course, right? And you kind of panic and want to push them off and feel very uncomfortable. And only recently, maybe about 5 months ago, I just started relaxing in those situations. I finally had a lot of experience, 2 years of this. And finally, I just learned I just got to relax, even in the middle, in a very bad situation. I'm used to it. It's, here, this is happening again. And what's interesting is the more I relax now, I'm now better at getting out. When I was panicking, when I was nervous, when I was like, oh, get off, trying to push them off or trying to escape, really fast, I had more trouble. I used a lot of energy and failed. I couldn't get out. Now that I'm relaxed, I just wait and I can feel kind of the weight. I can feel the balance of the person on top of me. And I'm better now at just getting out with not much energy. And sometimes I'm also just patient. I just wait. I don't panic as much. So just being calm, just by my mind becoming calm in that situation, it has helped me a lot, right? And as I said, it also helped me in public speaking, and it will help you also. So as Arib is saying, that with public speaking, for example, how do you get better at public speaking? You can take courses, you can read books about it. But number one, do a lot of speeches. Join Toastmasters. Any way you can get experience. Even talking, like doing a YouTube channel or something, or a podcast, and just practice with a microphone. That will help you. It helped me a lot. So it'll help you too. So just doing something a lot, you naturally get used to it, and it becomes, you become less nervous about it. Vladislav, good to see you. Okay, let's see. Okay, Second Mirror of Life says, how did you overcome your fear of facing the camera the first time? Well, actually, I had no fear of that, to be honest. Share your value experience with us all. I never had fear of the camera. It's just a camera. So it doesn't bother me at all. But I did have fear of standing in front of real people, public speaking, right? Like in a group of people. That I had a lot of fear about. And the first time I did it, my hands, I've told this story many times, but when I would do public speaking, my hands would shake. And even my arms sometimes, because I was so nervous. Sometimes it has happened more recently, but it's more of excitement, but usually now I'm just totally calm. So how did I get over it? First of all, I joined the Dale Carnegie public speaking course, so I got experience, and they have a good method too. I like, so they gave me a little bit of a method to follow, which helps. And then I just started doing it more and more and more, which also helped. And then I started, I was influenced by Tony Robbins. I kind of started trying to copy him for a while, and following that method of getting really excited. So try to change, instead of being nervous, change it to becoming excited. Jump around, play music, smile, dance, like 20 minutes before my speech. That helped a lot. That helped a lot. I would be excited instead of nervous. And then, as I said, the final step, I realized, okay, I'm too excited. So now I need to calm down. So I would do 20 minutes of jumping around, going crazy, and then just calm down. Now I don't need to do the jumping around so much because I'm not nervous now. Like before I speak, I don't really feel nervous at all. So I don't need to. I don't need to worry about changing it into something else, right? So those are the main things. And then, so if you're afraid of a camera, again, just turn it on and start talking. And do it again and do it again and do it again and do it a lot of times. And you could do this before you talk to the camera. Jump around, get excited so you feel less nervous. You feel more excitement. Take a few deep breaths and just do it. And then do it again and then do it again. And you will get better. And you will learn to relax more, which is also important. Okay. I'm just trying to catch up, guys. There's a lot of them. Vladislav, good to see you. Your opinion about the current conflict between Russia and Ukraine. I don't want to get into it because we have lots of Ukrainians and lots of Russians, but the Western media is lying about everything, as always. As usual, most people just believe it and repeat it because they're idiots. Just as they did with COVID, just as they did with the Iraq war, and they will do it again. I'm done trying to change people's mind. If people watch television, they're just going to believe whatever they're told. I realize now. Tired of trying to wake people up. Forget it. So, but I am not part of all that. You can be assured of that. It's complex, right? The reasons behind this are complex. But I will say this. Vladimir Putin has the perfect name for the USA and NATO. He called it the American Empire, the Empire of Lies. 100% correct. It's all lies, 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 lies. The Western media, 100% lies. Western government, certainly the American government, is a big lie. The elections are lies. It's all lies, lies, lies. Should the people of Russia be worried? Well, Russia is now at war with the American Empire of Lies, the globo-homo, the globalist empire, whatever you want to call it, the global banking empire. So, should you be worried? I mean, so obviously that's serious. That's a serious enemy because they're powerful. But I think, Russians are pretty tough. You got a tough history. Look at your history. Russians have a way of getting through very, 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 very tough times. So I think you'll be okay. You'll be all right. Okay, let's see. Can you interview Nate Robinson? Oh, Mohammed says, can you interview, it's Cole Robinson, I believe is his name. Cole Robinson about the snake diet. I would love to interview him. I contacted him twice. He talks about fasting a lot, fasting. I would love to interview Cole Robinson, but he doesn't answer my emails. So I invited him at least 2 times, maybe 3 times to, do an interview on my podcast. No reply. So that's okay. He's a busy guy, I'm sure. And maybe, since I have an English learning podcast, maybe he thinks it's not connected to his topic so much. I don't know why, but anyway, I still like the guy. He's great. He's awesome. So snake diet on YouTube, all about fasting. This guy knows a lot about fasting. He's done so much fasting. He's tried so many different kinds of fasting and different fasting systems for weight loss, for health, for your emotions, for spiritual, whatever. Okay, so if you have fasting questions, and fasting means, I should say, maybe you don't know, but to fast means to not eat, right? To stop eating. So some people will do that as what's called a water fast, only drinking water. So for example, for 2 days, 48 hours, you drink only water, no food. And there's also something called a dry fast. So that means nothing goes in your mouth, not even water, right? Dry, right? So it's no food, no water, nothing. So you might do a 24-hour dry fast. Why would you do that? There are lots of really good benefits, health and other benefits. So go check out the Snake Diet channel on YouTube and you can learn all about it. I'll do another show about fasting in the future, but it's a very big topic, so I'm not going to get into it right now. Yeah, Ilana Khan says, it's difficult to master emotions with people I care about, especially my kids. You're right. I wish I found the technique which is effective. It is hard. Some situations we just are more emotional about, right? They're just more deep for some reason, personal for us, and it can be hard, right? It can be very tough. So that's true. I understand that, right? Like some people, maybe public speaking, they're not nervous about it really. Like they for them, it's not so scary. And someone else, a different person, maybe it's terrifying, like super, 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 super scary, right? We all have things where we feel a lot more nervous about, and it's different for each person. And in those situations, it is harder. You just got to do your best and try to improve. You're always going to have emotions about your kids, obviously. But you want to try to stay calm with them when you can. Be patient with them. It does help, right? Do your best. Do your best. We're not perfect. You'll never be perfect about it. Cool. Yakon Albeo, is it Yakon or Jakon Albeo says, I did public speaking several months ago. It was the day of a student election at school. I did terribly. So I lost. But after many horrible public speaking situations, I have improved. Exactly. I was the same. My first speeches in my speaking class, of course, were terrible. Okay. Yeah. This is normal. When you're a beginner, you're terrible. I don't know why, somehow in our minds we're unrealistic, right? We're too hard about ourselves, and we're a beginner, and we think we have to be great immediately in the beginning, right? Like you never have done public speaking, but you think your first speech should be good. It's not going to be good. It's going to suck. Okay. Your first speech almost certainly will be bad. Probably your second and third and fourth and fifth speeches will also be bad. Okay. It's normal. Same with job interviews, right? Yeah. When you do job interviews, it's a skill, and you'll probably be bad for a while. So do a lot of them. This is why you need to go out there and do a lot of job interviews. Because the first time you do a job interview, yeah, you're probably going to be bad. You will be nervous probably. You'll try everything, all these tricks, but you'll probably still be nervous. It's okay. And maybe you give bad answers, or maybe they ask you a question kind of surprises you and you can't think of a good answer. It's all normal. So just walk out and think, well, okay, what did I learn? You have to learn from those bad experiences. Just learn and say, how can I get better? And then next time, maybe you're more prepared. You do a little better and a little better and a little better. And after 50 job interviews, you become quite good, right? We all know this in sports. You're not going to start playing basketball today and be great tomorrow, right? You're not going to start jiu-jitsu today and be great tomorrow. So it's the same with job interviews. It's the same with English. It's the same with everything. So we have to just, we got to learn to relax a little for ourselves, GGGG says, hi from Thailand. Hello. Sotikrap. Adam Kamalov says, your Power English course is great. I finished the 10th lesson. I started to speak English little by little. Thank you. Well, thank you. That's great. Keep going. Keep going. Awesome. Ibel says, what books about health can you recommend? Health is a complicated topic. Very complicated. I quite like The Primal Blueprint. I'll type it. By Mark Sisson. I think that's a pretty good one that's not too extreme. The Primal Blueprint by, I think, is it Mark with a C or a K? I can't remember. Mark Sisson. I put it in the chat if you're live here. The Primal Blueprint. That's a pretty good one. But diet and exercise, I think it's a good one to start with for health. Do I expect a third world war? I don't know why you guys are asking me. Like, I don't know I don't know. I'm not an expert on global military and political situation. I know that the U.S. empire is a lie and totally evil, and the U.S. government is the enemy of the American people, and the American and Western media is the enemy of the American people, and everybody else too. Beyond that, guys, I don't know. We will see. Gotta wait and see. And you don't know, and nobody else knows. So just sit back and wait. Let's see. Abdul Koyam says how to control fear while talking to others. So again, you could go through this process that I talked about if you're expecting the conversation, right? So it's easier to prepare if you like have a meeting. You have to talk to someone. Sometimes it's more difficult when it's a surprise, right? Maybe you're out walking around and suddenly someone comes up and starts talking to you in English. You're not expecting it, and then it can be you can maybe get a little nervous suddenly because you're not expecting it. That's normal too, right? You get surprised sometimes, and you're not really ready. So again, a lot of it is just get experience doing it. And this is not. I know it's not much of a secret. It's kind of obvious, but there is something for that a lot of times we fear the unknown, right? We fear what we are not used to. And so sometimes just doing something a lot, you become more relaxed, right? Like I said, like doing jiu-jitsu and getting in bad situations and fighting. For a while, it's no fun and quite uncomfortable, but eventually you become relaxed because you just get used to it, right? Same with public speaking. You stand in front of a group, you're going to be nervous, but after 100 times, you're probably going to be pretty relaxed about it. If you're just constantly doing speeches, maybe you get a job and you have to travel around and do speeches and meetings all the time. Well, eventually, if you're doing it a lot, you will become relaxed. You might not be good, okay, because you still need to learn this skill. There's still good skills to be a good speaker. But at least you can become more relaxed, right? You can become less nervous. And if you're less nervous, it's easier to learn. It's easier to improve your skill, to think about your skill, to use your skill. Sometimes you have skill, but you can't use it because you're too emotional. Again, this is like for jiu-jitsu when I was fighting, like I know how to get out of some bad situations, right? Like say I'm on the ground and there's a guy on top of me, right? Trying to choke me with my throat, right? So I know how to get out of that. I know the technique or several techniques to get out. But if I'm nervous and I kind of panic and I'm just, get afraid and nervous and too emotional, I might forget the technique, and it happens all the time, actually, in fighting. Is something I know, but then I forget it, right? But the more calm I am, now I'm pretty calm. If that happens to me, definitely if it happens to me in jiu-jitsu class, I just stay calm, and I know how to get out, and I usually do, right? Unless the guy's much better than me, but usually I can get out of that because it's actually not a very good attack in jiu-jitsu to just put your hands around someone's neck. So it's actually pretty easy to get out of if you don't panic and if you know what to do. So not panicking. Sometimes you know what to do. Sometimes you know the English vocabulary. You know the meaning. You know what you want to say. If you're in a job interview, you have good answers in your head. You practiced before. Or you're giving a speech, you know the topic. But you get nervous and it's like you forget everything. You can't use what you know, right? Because the emotion, the nervousness, turns your brain off a little bit. So that's, again, why if you can just calm down, you can actually use your skill, right? You might be really, really good, but if you're too nervous, you can't use it. Nobody will know you're good because you're not thinking clearly. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this is cool. Omar Fateh says, can you interview Coach Firas Zahabi? I know. Yeah, he's very famous. MMA coach, owner of TriStar Gym in Canada. I'd love to interview him. He's awesome. Worked with George St. Pierre, who's arguably the best MMA fighter in history. Yep, he worked with George St. Pierre. I think John Danaher also did. Yeah, it would be cool to interview him. He's a very famous grappling coach in MMA. I think he focuses on grappling, right? He focuses on the kind of the wrestling, jiu-jitsu side. And like you said, he's a big time coach. He's one of the top guys. For us, Zahabi, TriStar Gym is really quite famous in MMA. Yeah. I'll write it down. He's I don't know if he would come on my show, but it'd be cool. I've seen him on other podcasts. He's a really interesting guy. I'd love to talk to him about jiu-jitsu. Yeah, very cool that you know about him. He's great. I've watched some of he does on YouTube. He does some videos, like teaching techniques. So I've watched some of his stuff. It's really good. Yeah, like Arib again says, everybody makes mistakes, so what? If you want to get success, we always have mistakes. Nobody has mistakes who does nothing. Yes, this is the key thing. I think it's the fear of mistakes that like stops us, right? But like Arib's saying that if you stop, then you don't get the experience. It's kind of like a trap, right? Because okay, you're nervous, you don't want to make a mistake. So you don't get experience. If you don't get experience, you don't get better and make fewer mistakes. So it's like you stop yourself from learning. So we actually have to just be able to jump in and be bad. This is it's an important lesson, and I don't like it either. I hate the beginning part of doing something, being really, really bad at something. I don't like it either. Nobody likes it, I think, right? When I started jiu-jitsu, like I said, for 2 years, I was bad. Not just a little bad, very, very, very bad. I'm not great now, but I'm better. I'm definitely better. Certainly more relaxed and calm about it. And it's a big change for me. So those 2 years were difficult. It was really difficult just being beaten every time. I mean, every time I fought somebody 3 times a week, I was losing. And not just losing, but losing in very uncomfortable ways, like hard to breathe and, like getting smashed. What does Khabib call it? Smashed. Getting smashed. It was not fun. It's not fun. Sometimes it's not fun, but you have to do it. You have to go through that time, right? You know this because you've done difficult things. And even with English, right? When you first started English, you didn't understand anything. Now you're listening to me. An American talking for a whole hour in English, and you understand a lot, maybe all of it. Very impressive, right? But it's hard in the beginning, and you just have to jump in and do it and keep surviving this. You just got to keep doing that. You got to keep going. This is important. And you can't be afraid of being bad. You can't be afraid. Don't be afraid of being bad. Don't be afraid of failing. Don't be afraid of being uncomfortable. Just accept it. You must be uncomfortable for a while. You must fail for a while. You must be bad, like really bad for a while. When you first start playing guitar, you will be bad. When you first start doing a martial art, fighting, you'll be bad. When you first start doing public speaking, you'll be bad. When you first start doing job interviews, you will be very bad. It's okay. Keep going. That's how you get better, is by jumping in and getting that experience. Someone says the Russian government is enemy of Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and all European people. No, they're not. They're not. That's just propaganda. Okay. The American government is far more the enemy. Far more. Hey, Nabla. Julia's on. Hey, nice to see you. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. Adam Kamalov says, I started to speak casual conversation. Do you think it's good? It's great. Especially if you enjoy it, do it. Jump in. Enjoy those conversations. Absolutely. Demon says, you look so old, you must shave. Yeah, I know. The beard makes me look about 10 or 15 years older because it's white, like Gandalf. My daughter likes it. I said, do you want me to shave it? No, don't shave. I like it. I will shave it. I usually do this in the winter, and then when spring, when it starts to get warm, I'll shave it off, and then I'll magically become 10 years younger. GGG says, this is my first time watching you live. It made me want to learn more English. Thank you, from Thailand. Kapkun krap. Yeah, Julia, so great to see you again. Wow. Wonderful. It always looks awesome. Yeah, this is my... Muhammad Obi says, bring Matt versus Japan on again. Yeah, I could do that. He's an interesting guy. He's a very interesting guy. That's a good idea. Okay, let's see. I'm just kind of going back through, seeing if I missed any. Oh, okay. No, Dutu Loa says, have you read Mark Dice's books? He's written a lot of red pill books. He's kind of modern George Orwell. I like Mark Dice. Yes, I've seen a lot of his YouTube videos, and I have read some of his books as well. Yes, Mark Dice. So yeah, I recommend. You're right. I agree. And he's funny. He's kind of uses humor too. It's kind of nice when, like the red pill. It's just like red pills can be a little. Red pill means to wake up, to see kind of like the Matrix. It comes from the movie The Matrix, right? Red pill. So it means to see the propaganda, to see more of the truth. And usually the truth is pretty horrible in our modern world. We do live in an empire of lies. And so it's not fun. You read these, it can become depressing, right? We did the book club for Brave New World. And at the end, I was depressed. I was like, oh, this is it's depressing to think about because it's, it's so horrible, the truth. So I quite like people like him, Mark Dice. Owen Benjamin is like this also, where they add a little comedy. So we're more laughing at the evil. So, right, you're laughing at the evil instead of just getting sad about it. And I think it's more powerful to do that, right? So there's a lot of evil in the world and a lot of lies upon lies, and the lies, there's like different levels. The lies just get deeper. It's hard to know when do you find the truth, because you think, now I know the truth, but then you find out, oh no, that's a lie also. Oh, so it can be depressing. So I think having some humor, using some humor, some laughter to laugh about it, make fun of evil, laugh about it, I think laugh about the lies, I think is a very healthy thing to do emotionally, spiritually. So I like people like him, Mark Dice, Owen Benjamin, some others who use humor and laughter. It's a lot easier to focus on these things when you have this. Mohammed096 says, do you have Japanese friends? Yes, jiu-jitsu friends and family, of course. Yeah, Sarah. Hey, Sarah. Good to see you. Too many people are not living their dreams because they're living their fears. This is exactly it. I talk about this with starting a business. When I've given advice, to start your own small business. A lot of people never start because they're afraid. They're waiting for it to be perfect. Just start. Maybe you will fail. My first time trying my own business, I failed. It was like this multi-level marketing thing and really didn't fit me, honestly. But I got some interesting experience from it, learned some things, failed. And later, when I started Effortless English, it succeeded. Obviously, it fits me much better. So it's fine, and this is true of so many things in life that, if you don't start, you'll never succeed. So you just start and get experience. Go ahead and fail. Just have the mindset. Just understand, okay, I'm going to start and I'm going to be bad. I'm going to be bad for a while. Not forever, but I'm going to be bad for a while. Like I said, jiu-jitsu was 2 years. I'm still not good. I'm still a beginner, right? But at least I don't lose every time now. And I kind of understand what's happening more now. For 2 years, I was losing, and I didn't really know why. And it was uncomfortable. So you have to become, used to that and just accept it. Don't fear it. Once you get used to it, you realize there's nothing to fear. So what? You lose. You know what? You're bad. You give a speech. People don't, let me tell you, adults at least, if you give a bad speech in public, people don't laugh. Usually they feel bad for you, They kind of, oh, this poor guy, this poor girl, this poor woman. They feel kind of sympathetic because they know what it's like. They understand. They would be nervous too in that situation. So they're usually having, fairly positive thoughts about you. So they're not judging you badly, right? So you don't need to fear it. And then you try. Most people come up and say, hey, it was okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay, And then you just do it again and do it again and do it again. Oh, got Juliet from the Philippines. Welcome, Juliet. How old am I? I am 54. I probably look about 65 with this beard. Although I kind of like it. It's kind of a Viking. I think if I shave my head more, my head was shaved. So I was thinking if I shave my head and then the beard gets long, it has kind of a Viking look, Yakon Albia says, you're like our long-distance great father, giving practical advice to make our lives better. Well, thank you. Thank you. That's very nice. Oh, this is interesting. Santosh says, please do a book club show about one of Tony Robbins' books. There's one he has that's a kind of a more simple book, because some of his books, I've thought about it, but they would be very difficult to do. But he does have one called Notes from a Friend, I think it's called. That's kind of some of his main ideas, but in a more simple, shorter version. That one could be a good book club. We should do another book club, because I think we're done with Life After Life and Evidence of the Afterlife. I did those as kind of a team. So I think it's time to go on to a new book. I'll think about it. John Doe says, greetings from Shayla in Guatemala. I've been to Shayla. So greetings to you. Nasser. Hey, good to see you, Nasser. Hi, Coach. I'm late today. Do not panic. QAnon. Yeah, don't panic. It comes from a book called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is kind of a comedy book. Pretty funny, actually. Don't panic. Don't panic. Obede Verissimo da Silva says hello from Brazil. Hello. Okay, let's see what time it is. Okay, a couple more and then I gotta go play with babies. Yeah, like Muhammad says, sometimes it's very difficult to get out of our comfortable life and get into a challenging life or do something challenging. Uh, you're right, and you need both. So that's a good point. That you don't want to be uncomfortable all the time, right? At least I don't. I think most people. That's too much stress is not good for you. Also, we all know this, right? So if just constantly challenging, pushing, go all the time, everything's uncomfortable. I don't know. Maybe some people can do that, right? Super performers. Maybe Tony Robbins does that. But I think most of us need a lot of areas in our life where we're more relaxed, more comfortable. It's fine, right? So I think what is good to do is you choose one or two areas in your life where you want to learn something new, right? Improve, whatever. And you push yourself in those areas. Push yourself to be more uncomfortable. And in other areas of your life, maybe you're relaxed. And you're not pushing yourself so much. That's fine too, right? It also helps if you enjoy it. I talked about jiu-jitsu for 2 years, saying it was tough, and it was tough, but I also really enjoyed it. It seems strange to say that. It was stressful and difficult, but also enjoyable. But there are also very enjoyable things about it. So also during that time, those 2 years as a white belt, I had a good time, right? So it was hard, but enjoyable, right? So that helps. It helps if you like what you're doing. Eibel asks, is the Gab group still working? I tried to join. It is still working. I was just there today. So try again. Raman Samal says, do you consider reading The Power of Habit in the book club? Yeah, that's a good one. I think it's on our list, actually. So we can try that. Oh, thank you. Julia says, whose screen name is Nabla765, says, your suggestions are so precious to me. They always stay with me all my life. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's so great. We've missed you. It's great to see you. Of course, I know you don't need effortless English anymore. You're way beyond that now, but it's great for you to pop into our chat. Yeah, Muhammad has a point here. Muhammad Obi says, some people try to do everything to be special in the top 10%, and that can cause depression. Yeah, we call it burnout, right? In English sometimes, where, right, if you, and there are certain people, it does definitely some personalities that are like this. They just go, everything, 100%, right? But I think for most people, right, if you're trying to be like the best in everything you do, then you never get to just be calm and to enjoy what you already have and have peace and calm. I think for most people, definitely for me, yeah, I need that too. Most areas in my life, I'm not pushing myself constantly, right? Couple areas, maybe. Thank you, Julia. Thank you. Says I need everything again. I always need you. Okay, let me see what time it is. Oh, it's almost time to go. Do we have a plan for another challenge? Asked Sarah, because we got a lot of benefits from any kind. Well, the 365 challenge is ending in April, I believe. So this is our last month of doing that. And I'm looking forward to, I know I haven't talked about it a lot for different reasons, but I'll still do like a show at kind of the end of it, because I know some people did keep going, right? 365 challenge was do English every single day. For me, it was jiu-jitsu. I've done pretty well on that. I have done pretty well. I missed some days. I'm not 100%, but not bad. So hopefully you all did well too. Hi from Egypt, says Esra. Hello to Egypt. All the Egyptians out there. We have people from Guatemala and Italy and all over. Philippines. Take a couple more. Yeah. Alpama says, how about doing the rational male for a book club? It would be informative for young guys. It would indeed. I don't know if women would enjoy it very much, honestly, but it would be interesting for the young men. Okay. I'll take one more, and then we're going to go. I'm just looking back up through comments. Sometimes I miss some. Do I have TikTok? No, I don't. Okay. Strong power. How long does it take to memorize all words in English without looking up words from the easiest stories? Well, that really depends. Don't worry about memorizing all words. I think you're going to forget some. It's okay. I wouldn't focus on that so much. Like, I must memorize every single word perfectly. Just try to, if you have a new story, a new lesson, an article, anything you're working on, try to learn some of the new words as much as you can. But when you start getting like really bored or tired of it, just move to the next thing. And it's okay if you forget some or you don't learn. You don't have to learn every single word. It's not necessary. You'll eventually, the ones you don't learn at first, when you come back, you'll learn them again. So you'll get there. You'll get there. Okay, I think that's all for now. What do I think? Okay, I'll ask this last one just because it's interesting. What do you think? Eyeball, because I like MMA and jiu-jitsu. Eyeball says, what do you think of Conor McGregor? Conor McGregor. Well, he was an interesting fighter, right? Very, I think Conor McGregor, a lot of what Conor McGregor was really good at talking. And, we say hype, to hype a fight. To hype means to like promote, right? To create excitement. So he's kind of funny, very, kind of loud. And so he could create a lot of excitement about a fight, right? Compared to someone like Khabib, who I think is a better fighter, but not as loud, right? Not as much of a talker. But Conor was great. He was a good fighter. But I'm quite interested in more of the grapplers, the wrestlers, because that's what I do. I enjoy all the MMA stuff, but I really like the guys who like Khabib's a really good wrestler. So I quite like him. I've watched some of Khabib's videos. Actually, I use one of his techniques. I try to use one of his techniques that I learned from one of his videos. It works very well. So yeah, interesting. But Conor McGregor's an interesting guy. He was obviously a great champion and very colorful. Shapiro, welcome. Thank you for supporting the channel. Also, Alamin, thank you as well. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, well, we're going to go for now. I'll be back. So, as always, join my VIP program at effortlessenglishclub.com, and I'll be back with another show very soon. Remember, the point of this topic today is that it's good to you need to work on your skills, but you also have to learn how to find that calm, right? First, and I mentioned again, 2 steps. I think it's good to do it in 2 steps when you're nervous or afraid, for example. Step 1, change it to a positive emotion, right? Usually excitement. How do you do that? You jump around, you sing, you dance, you do all these, kind of Tony Robbins type things, right? You smile, all the things I do, and this will help you to change the nervous emotion into a positive emotion like excitement. That's step one. Then step two, you need to calm down a little bit. So step two, after you're feeling excited and then sit down, close your eyes, focus on your breathing. Don't think, just calm your body. Try to slow down your heart, slow down your breathing, and become as calm as possible. And then give your speech or do your job interview or whatever you need to do. Okay, lots of love to you all. I will see you again soon. Bye for now.